Okay, so welcome to this introduction to Tracker Mobile, which is Start Software's mobile data collection system for asbestos surveyors and other health and safety professionals. What we have here is the screen of a number of different data collection forms that I have on my handset. You can have any number of data collection screens. There might be for different areas of your business, for example, for asbestos surveying, for Legionella work, for general risk assessments, or indeed for things like expenses and timesheets. I'm going to go into our Tracker Mobile screen to show you how you would use the system to collect asbestos data. So here I have a list of all of the items that I've collected so far, and as you can see there aren't any. So we're going to go into a new item, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to choose the project that we're working on today. So what we have is a list of job numbers with details that are booked into Alpha Tracker and therefore are available for surveying. It confirms the site name and address when I choose it, so that the surveyor shouldn't be making a mistake on site, and then the surveyor chooses their name again from a drop-down list. Once we've chosen the survey that we're dealing with, we then choose the building that we're going to, and this building list is dependent on the project being chosen. So because I chose the Adina Hotel, here are the two buildings that we're likely to survey there. If we go on site and it's a building that isn't on the list because it hasn't been pre-keyed for us, then we could just key it into that box there. Once we're in the building, we say which floor we're working on. So there's the ground floor, the first floor, the lower ground floor. I've left a selection here of different floor numbers and floor codes on to show you that we can customize this to suit how you work. And then the next thing we do is we choose the room number that we're in. So this is going to be the first room that we go in, so location 1. And here is another drop-down list. This time it says what's the room we're going into. So we'll say that's the reception. This drop-down list here is a box that you can key into if you want to, or you can preset the list to suit your particular way of surveying. Did we get into the room okay? Yes, we did. Do I want to record any non-suspect items? In other words, items that aren't asbestos, but that we might want to record so that the client knows that we saw information when we were on site. So here we have, for example, the ceiling that we're going to say is, what should we have for the ceiling? Let's have a plasterboard ceiling, and we'll have an internal wall that is going to be concrete. And you can see it's item, material, item, material, item, material, and that's how the system works. It will learn how you survey. So if you tend to not start at the ceiling but you start at the floor, the next time you go into a room it will prompt you for the floor first and not the ceiling. So it tries to learn the way you survey. The materials themselves, as you can see, are just a drop-down list. These are things that you would set up in the office, in the setup part of the system, to make sure that everybody's surveying consistently. But the items that you're looking at are items that can be chosen from the list or can be keyed in. You can see there you've got a flashing cursor, so I can put new items in if I want to. Now, if that was the only, if there was nothing suspect in the room, so I was just recording some general information, I could, at this point, I could take a photo just by tapping the screen. That turns the unit into a camera. And if I take the picture there, you'll see how easy it is for me to insert the photo into the record. And if I wanted to, I could put some notes on as well. Finish that one away. That's done our first room. So there we go, the lower ground floor, reception, room number 1. Next room. So we've recorded our first room. Now we're going to go to the second room and record an asbestos sample. So new session. You'll see it's remembered all of the information from the session before. So the project, the surveyor, the date, the building I was in, the floor that I was in, the lower ground in that case. So all I need to do is nudge the room number forward. This time I'm going to be in an office, and I could then be recording my non-suspect items just as I did before. The lists themselves, you soon get used to them, and the abbreviations are things that you can change yourself because they're just part of Tracker. So if I just scroll down there, now we're going to record a suspect item, and as I choose an item here, it's going to pop up a list of questions about the fact that this is a possible asbestos item. So what are we doing about it? Well, The first thing is, what sort of material is it? It's an insulating board. It's probably AIB, that's what I'm suspecting. So I'm going to sample it. S is for sample, SP is strongly presumed, P presumed, and X lets you cross-reference back to another sample that you've already taken. Sample number is 1. If you wanted to, you could put a reference in here. I'm going to put some quantity here, so it's 1 door. So I'll just put 1 number. Then we have the standard risk assessment questions for product type, damage and surface treatment. And if I want to, I can choose a recommendation. So my recommendation would just be just a re-inspection required on that one. I could put an action date, I can say that it's notifiable material, and I can also say how easy the door is to access. If necessary, I can complete the full priority assessment at the same time, again just with drop-down boxes. And here I can take a picture of the door just by tapping on the screen. So I'll just move that around there and take a picture of that door. And at the same time, so there's our nice picture, at the same time I can record either a freehand notes, or I can pick some standard comments, again which you can set up on your Alpha tracker system, and they come through automatically to the phone. Finish that one. There it is. I've got the 2 rooms that I've now looked at. I've got room 1, the reception, room 2 in the office, where I took a sample number 1, to the door. In the next room we're going to have a no access situation. So this is the situation where you go to room 3, so let's just scroll down again, choose room 3, which is going to be the gents' toilets, well actually we'll have the ladies' toilets. And no, I didn't gain access this time, okay, so I need to do the cross there to say that I didn't access it. Well, I'm not going to be recording any general building materials because I can't get in the room, nor am I going to be recording a suspect item because I couldn't get in the room. So in this case it's even simpler. All I would need to do is tap to take the photo of the door and put a note in to record why I couldn't get in. So I could say that the room was occupied. Let's just type that in, and you can see with these the keyboards that we have on the phones, they're very quick to type because it's actually doing the predictive text. Finish that one away. There we go. That was a no access area saved for the ladies' toilets. So you go through this process to record the information during the day. Let's do a cross-reference sample now. That's something that we haven't done as yet. I've got sample number 1 from a door in office number 2. Now I have sample number 2 from the door in office number 4. So let's move to the next room, which will be room number 5, but it's the same type of door as in office number 4. So it's going to cross-reference the sample back to sample 2. So I'll go into the next session, the next form, keep all this information the same. This is the next room along, so it's room number 5. Again, it's another office. I could record the non-suspect information if I wanted to, but I'm going to just record the details here. It was the door I was recording. The product type was that insulation board. It looked like AIB. I'm not going to sample it this time because it looks the same as the sample number 2. So I'm going to cross-reference it back to sample number 2. There may be a different quantity, of course. It may be a different size door. In this case it isn't. There's only one of them. So I'll tap that in. And again, this one might be damaged, whereas previously it was in good condition. This one might have a different surface treatment compared to the other. The risk assessment section is still available to you to record. Again, we can have a recommendation if we wanted to. This one we're going to remove, we suggest, because it's in damaged condition. And again, I could take the photograph to prove that I was looking at the right piece of equipment. And I can put a note in here this time. I'll do a comment this time to say door to be removed immediately. And let's see if the you can see how good the predictive texting is because of damage. There we go. Done. So there's a cross-reference sample, cross-referencing it back to sample number 2. this time in room number 5. The next example I'm going to show you is how to repeat the information in a room if it's identical to another room. So here we have room 2, where I took a sample number 1 to the door. And that office might be very similar to another office further down the corridor. So if I tap and hold that one, I've got an option here to duplicate. It will pop up the duplicate record that I've just created, ready for me to change the information. Well, this is going to be room number 4, and it's another office that's down the corridor. And you'll see it's remembered all the detail from the previous room. So all I have to do is change the room number and name. In this particular case, I'm going to take another sample. I'll take it as sample number 2. The risk assessment's going to be the same. And I would obviously need to retake the photo, so I'll just tap there to remove the photo that had been stored on the other record. I'll just take a nice little photo there of our training room. And that would do. That has just repeated the entire room, but I've just taken another sample just in a few seconds and a couple of taps. How about presumed items, strongly presumed items, and areas of limited or no access within a room? Let's have a look at those. So if I bring up again a new screen here, let's suppose I'm moving down to location number 6, which is the stairs in this case. I'm going to flick down to the suspect item, and I've got an issue here in that there's a duct that I can't get into. So I've got a number of choices here in our software, and it really depends on how you like to survey. I could say that I'm presuming asbestos to be in the duct. That's what the P stands for. I'm presuming asbestos to be there because I can't prove that it isn't, because I can't get into the duct. Or I might have seen a similar duct elsewhere in this building, so I might be strongly presuming it to be asbestos because I know in other ducts around the building of a similar type, asbestos has in fact been present. The other option I've got is on the product type here, rather than select a specific type of material, I have, for example, a material here of no access gain. So I can say within this particular room, I couldn't gain access to the duct, therefore I'm presuming there to be asbestos. That's how you'd record that. Other setups for Tracker Mobile have an LAG for limited access gained, or difficult to access. It's another type of material where you can't actually specify a specific material, but you want to record a bit more information for your client. Hope that helps. So that's how you might want to record either a presumed item, a strongly presumed item, or an area of no access or limited access within a room that you've otherwise accessed. So as you can see, the information builds up during the course of the survey, and in fact any of the previously stored screens of information can be opened, can be checked, can be changed. Here's that cross-reference I did earlier. There's the photo. I could change the photo, change the notes. I can change any information whilst the information's on my handset. But at the end of the surveyor is going to want to check it and then mark the information to say that it's ready to be transmitted. Here we have a button to do just that, and when I press it, the information goes green, and the green indicates that the data will be sent off to the server next time the surveyor connects their phone back. The transmission can happen over the mobile phone network, or it can happen over Wi-Fi. It's whatever's most convenient for you, so the surveyor can send the information from site if they want to, or if they're driving away from site, just using the mobile phone network. And if I choose here synchronize, we'll see the system make a connection and then send that data in, and you'll literally see the information disappear off the screen as it goes. If anything's changed on the server, so perhaps a new job has been booked in for the surveyor, this message will appear to say that there's information to come down, and it returns to the home screen with a note to say that that particular one has new information and it's been marked as red, which I could then tap and go in. Don't forget that you have the opportunity to look at not just the information you're working on, but any information that you've previously sent or deleted. So if I look in my sent sessions here, here's the data I've just transmitted to the server, which I could then reuse if I wanted to, or check. Perhaps there's been a query from the office as to the information I've sent. So that remains on your handset for a number of days. You can choose how long it stays, actually, between a week and a month. and that's a very useful facility to be able to drop back in and check your information.